Hi boys and girls, this is Miss Betsy. This is take 3. I have to apologize to you. I don't know if the story actually is on the website by now. It might be. It is on YouTube if you want to look at it there. I probably did something not quite right because I'm not the most computer literate person in the world. So it was the story about the serpent, the snake, tricking Eve into eating a piece of fruit off the tree that she and Adam were told not to eat that fruit. And the serpent tricked her, and then she tricked Adam. And so the end of the story is that Adam and Eve had to leave the garden. They were living in the Garden of Eden. And they were very sad. And we had a picture which shows them leaving. And they didn't look happy at all because, of course, instead of staying in this nice, perfect garden with everything growing and beautiful flowers and clouds and sunshine, and they had to go out into the world and they had to work hard, and they couldn't go back into the garden ever because God put an angel at the gate so that nobody could go back in. So what happened to them out in the world, of course, they had to work. They had to grow their own crops. They had to build their own homes. And the other thing that they did was they had a family. Now, let me show you. I wanted to show you my little serpent buddy that I made for the story last week. If you get to see the story, you'll see him. I saved him. Maybe we can use him in another story sometime. He does look a little scary when he's up close. But anyway, this is our little serpent buddy. So Adam and Eve were out in the world and they started a family, which of course, being the first family, that means that we all came from that one little family. Well, it wasn't a little family, it was a pretty big family. And you all live in a family. You might have brothers and sisters. Sometimes it's just mom, sometimes it's just dad. It's nice when you can have mom and dad and brothers and sisters and your pets and the other people in your family. You have cousins. Our story today is going to have cousins, aunts and uncles, grandma and grandpa. There can be lots of people in your family. So our story today is about Adam and Eve making the very first family. And this is lesson 7. If you want to look it up in your Bibles, it's longer than some of our stories are. It's Genesis chapter 4 and chapter 5. Chapter 5 goes through all the Mary and Joe had a son named Billy, and Billy and Mary had a son named James, and James and Susan had a daughter named Katie, and it goes through the whole list of families that came from the one family we're going to hear about today. So let me tell you the story, the Bible story, and then we'll do our other story. And then there were so many things with this lesson today. We couldn't possibly do them all. Even if we were here in Sunday school for an hour, we couldn't do them all. But I'll tell you what they are, and they're things that if you want to do it later, you can, when you have time, when you want to. Now here's Adam and Eve, and I think he's cooking. Yeah, he's cooking over a fire, and there's their son, and there's another son. There's Eve. There's Adam. When you look in your packet today, you'll have this picture, which is the same one. You can make it any color you want to. You can make them cooking whatever you want to. But that goes with the Bible story. Okay, so let me tell you this story. Because Adam and Eve had disobeyed God, remember she ate the fruit she wasn't supposed to. And then she gave some to Adam, and he ate some, and that's why God made them leave the garden, because they had disobeyed him. They made a new home outside the Garden of Eden. Soon God gave them a baby. Adam became the very first father, and Eve became the very first mother. They were amazed and thankful for God's wonderful gift. They named him Cain. Now I want you to remember that because I'm going to ask you some questions later. When Cain grew up, he became a good gardener. Remember that too. He became a good gardener. He liked to plant and grow vegetables. Everyone in the family enjoyed eating the food that Cain grew. His younger brother Abel was a good shepherd. Now you know a shepherd takes care of sheep. He would take care of cows and goats and sheep, and everybody in the family enjoyed eating the meat, the milk, and the cheese from the animals that Abel raised. God gave Adam and Eve more and more children. Their family grew and grew and grew. Adam and Eve were very happy with another son named Seth. He and his family loved the Lord more than his brothers and sisters. Enoch, who was Seth's great-great-great-grandson, loved God and trusted him more than anyone else. Adam and Eve's children grew and started their own families. Adam and Eve became grandparents. Then their grandchildren grew up and started families of their own. Soon Adam and Eve became great-grandparents. Now some of you might have great-grandparents. That's your grandma's and your grandpa's mom and dad. And some people even have great-great-grandparents. That goes back another generation. Your great-grandma and great-grandpa, their parents. So that's what Adam and Eve had become now. They were very proud of their children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren. They were amazed at the special abilities God had given to each one. Sometimes Adam and Eve's children did not get along well, but they were still an important part of the family. Adam and Eve's grandson Enoch planned and built a city for the family. Jabal learned how to live in tents and take care of the animals that traveled from pasture to pasture. Sometimes they did that with the sheep and the cows so that they wouldn't eat all the grass from this field. They would move them to a different field and let that grass grow back. Jubal played beautiful music. Everyone enjoyed listening to him play the instruments he invented. Tubal-Cain discovered how to make strong, sharp tools to help the others do their work. Adam and Eve were thankful for each of their children. They enjoyed helping the children grow up and learn new things. Adam and Eve knew that God wanted everyone in their family to love and care for each other. They were careful to teach their children about God. They told their children how to worship and honor God. Adam and Eve were thankful that God gave them such a big family to love. God cared about Adam and Eve's family, and he cares about every family on earth. So that means he cares about your family. So there they are again. Now let's do our out of your book. Remember, it's the front page and the back page. And the front page is about the Bible story. There's the picture. You have another one. And this has stories for you to talk to your mom and dad about and read the story together and talk about what all was in the story and ask questions. So this page has your stickers. And let's see. Do you remember in the other picture? Here, this one. He had a pile of rocks, and in the center of the pile of rocks was the fire that he was cooking their meal on. So your first sticker for lesson 7 is the fire. And that goes back here. So it's on top of the rocks. And the second sticker, of course they had to grow their own things now. They had to grow their own fruits and vegetables. Looks like they've got a tomato and a cucumber, maybe? A watermelon. They had to grow their own food. And so that's what Cain is holding. He's holding his fruit and vegetables. My little chipmunk at home, I tell her she likes her fruits and her veggies. I treat her like a baby. That's my chipmunk, Scooby-Loo. And then they also had to raise their animals. And there's the sheep. We're going to put the sheep over here. So there's your story and your Bible story. And since the story is about families, well, I'll tell you this when we get to our other things that we can make. The Bible verses. The Bible verse for today's story: Adam and Eve lived a long time and had many sons and daughters. That doesn't really sound like a Bible verse, does it? Let's say it again. Adam and Eve lived a long time and had many sons and daughters. And that's what happened. That's how other families came to be, because Adam and Eve were the very first family. And the Bible verse for this month, which is October, on the seventh day God rested from all his work. Remember, we talked about how he created everything in 6 days, and on the seventh day he rested. And the Bible verse for this quarter, which is this month and next month, God created heaven and earth. So let's say the three of them again. Adam and Eve lived a long time and had many sons and daughters. On the seventh day, God rested from all his work. And the quarter verse, God created heaven and earth. So we'll go back over the verses again when we're done. Who remembers the name of the first child? Remember I told you to remember when I was telling you the story? The first son, that's him. He was named Cain. And this son, the second one, was named Abel. And do you remember some of the special things they knew how to do? When Cain grew up, he was a gardener. So he grew the fruits and vegetables and plants. And that's Cain. Abel, when he grew up, he became a shepherd. So he would take care of the cows and the goats and the sheep. And what was the thing that Adam and Eve especially made sure that they taught their children to do? They taught their children about God. They told their children how to worship and honor God, and to be thankful that God gave them such a big family to love. So let's go to our other story, and this is about a family reunion. How many of you have ever gone to a family reunion? Do you know what a family reunion is? Family reunion, excuse me, I've got a message sitting there. I want to get it out of the way. There we go. A family reunion is when people get together, aunts and uncles, cousins, grandma, grandpa, they all get together, and sometimes it's a picnic, sometimes it's a dinner at somebody's house, and they get all the different relatives together. And a lot of times, I'm sure you have some relatives who don't live in Level Green or even in Pennsylvania. So a lot of times people will have a family reunion, and people travel from all over, different states, the other side of the country, and they come and visit, and they have their family reunion. So that's what this story is about today. This little boy, he had cousins. You know what cousins are, right? Your mom and dad have a brother or a sister, and their family, they have children, and those children are your cousins. And mom and dad, that's your aunt and your uncle. So this little boy, he had never met his cousins before, so this was probably the first big family reunion they'd had in a long time. You can see there are lots of people there. Looks like they're at a park having a picnic. Look at all that food. Look at all those people. Okay, let's see what our story says. Come on, Diane, said Cy to his little sister. Let me help you put on your shoes. Shoes, answered Diane. Help shoes. Yeah, I'll help you with your shoes, Cy laughed. Then we'll be ready to go. Cy's family was going to what his mom called a reunion, a family reunion. Cy wondered what a reunion was, and he asked his mom about it while they were driving there. It's when people meet together, his mom said. Today, excuse me again. Today our family is going to have a party. Well, aren't we together already? Wondered Cy. Why couldn't we just have a party at our house? Our family is bigger than just you and your dad, your sisters, and me, Cy, said Mrs. Young. Your grandparents and Uncle David and Aunt Jane are all part of our family, too. They're all your relatives. You have lots of relatives, and today you're going to meet many of them for the first time. Wow, Cy said. Will there be other kids there? Yes, answered his mom. You'll meet your cousins today. Cousins? Asked Cy. I'll explain to you when you meet them, Mrs. Young said as they pulled into the park. Let's go, everyone. Cy got out of the car. There were lots of people gathered around picnic tables. Kids were playing with a big beach ball. Do you see those kids over there, Cy? Those are your cousins, explained his mom. Really? They look like normal kids. They are normal kids, Cy, she said. They're part of our family. Do you see the woman over there by the food table wearing the green shirt? I don't know if she's in the picture or not. There she is. The lady wearing the green shirt. Cy looked at the picnic table. I see her, Mom. She looks a lot like you. That's my sister, Debbie. She's your Aunt Debbie. You've never met her before because she lives far away. But she brought her family here for the reunion, Cy's mom explained to him. Now, do you see the boy who just caught the beach ball? The one wearing the blue shirt. Do we see him? No, it's one of them. That's Aunt Debbie's son, Danny. He's your cousin. He's a little older than you. Would you like to meet him? Sure, said Cy. He looked forward to playing with someone besides his little sisters. Cy and his mom walked over to Danny. Hi, Aunt Jenny, Danny called when he saw Mrs. Young. He gave her a hug. Hi, Danny, she answered. It's good to see you. You've grown a lot since I visited 2 summers ago, when your baby brother was born. Danny nodded and answered, That's right. Danny, this is my son, Cy, said Mrs. Young. You are cousins. Hello, Cy, said Danny. I sure am hungry. Do you want to eat lunch with me? Sure, Cy answered. I'm always hungry. Did you see all that food over there? The 2 boys raced to the table, filled their plates, and sat down on the grass. Cy closed his eyes and thanked God for the food and for his family. As he looked around the park at all the people, Cy realized that God had given him a big family to love and care for. Danny? Asked Cy. Yeah? It sure is fun to know you and that you're part of my family, Cy said. God sure knew what he was doing when he made families. Danny agreed. Yes, he did. Hey, Cy, you don't happen to play soccer, do you? I brought my soccer ball. Cy was thrilled. I love soccer, he answered. Let's go get our cousins together and start a game. Kids on one team and grown-ups on the other. That's something people do at picnics, right, is play games. So that's Cy and Danny and their mom and dad and their aunt and their uncle, and I bet there's some grandparents there. Yes, I see somebody with gray hair. And there's all those kids and all those grown-ups, and they're all part of the same family. So some families have a reunion every year. Some it's, a few years in between. And of course, people grow up in that time. And then kids, they grow up and they get married. And when they come back to the reunion next time, they bring their kids with them. So that's what's nice about a nice big family. You keep adding to it. So our page from the back of your book, there's our picture. Now, on this front part, everybody in these pictures, one of them is doing something kind for somebody in their family. They're showing love. So you've got these heart stickers here. So I want you to put a heart sticker beside, that's this first one. She has a cast on her leg and she's riding a wagon. So what's he doing for her? Pulling the wagon so she can get around. So we can put a heart sticker beside him. Oops. There we go. And then this could work either way, this picture. It looks like maybe the little girl baked some cookies and she's sharing them with her grandma. Sometimes grandmas bake the cookies and share them with their grandchildren, right? I bet your grandma does that a lot, or your mom. So, looks like she was the helper, so we'll give her the heart sticker. Now this lady, she looks like she isn't feeling very well. And she's in bed. And so maybe her grandson or a next door neighbor, he probably went to visit her and make her feel better. So we'll give him the heart sticker. And then this one, little boy, looks like maybe he fell. I see him crying. And so is the person who's helping him. Sometimes when somebody's really sad or they're hurt and you want to try and help them, sometimes you cry too, and that's okay. Because you're being kind, you're showing love, and it means you feel love for them. So if that makes you cry, that's okay. So we're going to give her the heart sticker too. There we go. Maybe she'll even pull him in his wagon and take him home. Okay, so that's our stickers today. Now, the page that I'm on now is all these different things that you can make. There's the coloring page, I told you about that one. And sometimes people make things called a family tree. And what you do, let me get a pencil, is you put maybe you right here. Your mom goes here. And your dad goes here. But your mom and dad, I'm sorry, you probably couldn't see that. The mom and dad, they also have family members. So we'll make this go up here. Your mom has a mom and dad. And your dad has a mom and a dad. And it keeps going all the way back, and you go, I'm holding this where you can't see it. So it starts with you, but then you keep adding layers. And that's why they call it a tree, because when it's filled out, it starts out like a trunk on a tree, and it fills out. And you've got your grandparents and cousins and aunts and uncles and all those people that were in the story we just had. So that's something you can make. And you might want to ask your mom and dad to help you fill in names. And if you want to, you could even get photographs. If mom and dad will let you have some pictures, and you can put your family tree together that way. Put the pictures on there. Another thing you can make is magazines. Magazines always have lots of pictures of people in them. And you can cut out families, or cut out mom and dad, cut out some kids, and put a family together. And you can make several people in the family, several different layers on the family tree. Okay, another thing you can make is if you have some popsicle sticks, like these are the foam ones, or regular popsicle sticks, or even pencils. If you want to, is glue them on paper. So I've got 2 or 3 different kinds here. And put one of them on there for everybody in your family. Then, of course, you put a face on it, give them some hair, and then you can take some material like an old shirt or some material that your mom has around the house, and cut out clothes for them. Or you could cut clothes out of paper. You could cut out some clothes. Or you could just draw them on. But you got to put everybody in your family there. And if your mom and dad and your grandma and grandpa, if grandma and grandpa may not live close to you, but they're still part of your family, so you can put them there too. And you can fill that whole paper up with people, because God gave you a family. Something else you can make if you want to is if you have Play-Doh. That's what I made little serpent guy out of, was Play-Doh. You can roll it out and make a head and arms and legs and draw clothes around them, or make clothes out of Play-Doh. Or if your mom is in the mood for baking cookies, if you have cookie cutters for gingerbread men, gingerbread ladies, or round like sugar cookies, make some cookie dough and cut out people or just faces. And when you bake the cookies, then you can decorate them. You can put icing clothes on them, or you can make their face and hair and everything with the icing. So what else do we have on here? Family tree, family pictures. Oh, and if your mom and dad will let you use some pictures, just put a bunch of pictures together. And if you can, your paper, cut this like that and make a frame. Put a frame on there. Put all those pictures in there. You can tape them or glue them, whatever mom and dad allow you to do with them, but you can put your whole family on there. So that was a whole lot of things that was in the book for us to do. So you can do some of them now, or you can do some of them later, but keep the idea up here because it's something you might want to do later. Let me put the pencil back. All right. So let's see, 27 minutes. All right, we're hitting it close. All right, so what was the special event that Cy and his family were going to? Do you remember what it was called? Family reunion, yeah. And they learned that they had cousins, and they learned the cousins' names, and they got to meet them for the very first time. And how did Cy feel knowing that he had a nice big family like that? He was very happy. And who gave him that family? God did. God gave all of us a family. And like I said, some of them are little families, and some of them are big families, and some of them are older families, and some of them are younger families. And what else we have, is the church family. We're not actually related like you and your brother and sister are, but we're all part of God's family. So that's another family that we have. So let's go back and do our Bible verses. Wrong page. Okay. The verse for the whole quarter. God created heaven and earth. Okay, and the verse for the month. On the seventh day, God rested from all his work. And say it with me. On the seventh day, God rested from all his work. And then the verse that goes with today's story, Adam and Eve lived a long time and had many sons and daughters. Adam and Eve lived a long time and had many sons and daughters. And remember, if you want to look it up in your Bible, it's Genesis chapter 4 and chapter 5. And chapter 5 goes through all the different generations. A generation is somebody's mother and father, their mother and father, their mother and father. And everybody has generations in their family. So that was lesson 7. And let's say our prayer. I guess, we're coming up on a half hour. I seem to run a half hour long with these for some reason, but so I hope you don't mind. And I hope this one works better so you can actually watch it. Now we've got, let's see, next week is October, then there's 4 Sundays in November, and that's when we get our new books then, and it will be getting ready for Christmas. So next Sunday, will be the trunk or treat. So you can come over to church and people will have their trunks decorated and have candy and games, and we're going to have snacks and candy and all kinds of fun things to do. So, and it'll be out in the church parking lot, and you have to wear a mask. You can wear where's my mask? It's all the way over there. You can wear a mask, you can wear your costume. No scary stuff, okay? Just fun costumes. You can wear your costume. You can go around to everybody's car, see what kind of games they have, and get some candy. Sounds like a lot of fun. We had it last year. Last year was really, really windy, so I hope it's warm so we can be outside. And I hope it's not real windy like it was last year, because everybody's things were blowing around. But anyway, it's a fun time. So that's Sunday afternoon, next Sunday, from 2 until 4. So let's say our prayer. Dear God, help us feel joyful and be thankful for being part of a family. Help us pray, if not right now, we'll pray another time, for every person in our family. Help us remember to show love to each of our family members this week. Amen. Okay, so next week you can talk about Halloween, and maybe the week after that too, because that will be first Sunday in November, but it's just the day after Halloween. So we'll have probably a Halloween game, maybe some Halloween prizes. You can talk about what you're going to be. I am going to be a black cat. I have a t-shirt with a picture on it that looks just like my little black kitty. And I have a hat that has ears and glitter on it. And so I'm going to be a black cat. Oh, and I have a mask. I have a mask that has kitty face on it too. So that's what I'm going to be. So I imagine you probably have decided by now what you're going to be. But if not, that's okay. You've got a couple weeks yet to get ready. And I know there's going to be trick or treating here in Level Green. But some people do it that way, and some people are going to do something different. So what's important is you have fun. You get some candy. Yeah, Halloween's always a fun time, and it might be a little different this year, but you can still have a good time. And don't forget about our trunk or treat, which is next Sunday, not this Sunday coming up, but next Sunday from 2 to 4. And I hope to see you all there. And so I guess that's it, guys. I ran long again. It's about a half hour, so I hope you don't mind. I'm glad you come, and I'm glad to talk to you. Even if we're not sitting in the same room together, I still am glad that I get to talk to you. And you can talk back to the screen too. I might not hear everything you say, but you can talk back to the screen and answer the questions, right? Okay, so everybody have a good week. Maybe we'll see some of you on Sunday. Maybe we'll see some of you next Sunday at the trunk or treat. And we'll talk to you next week. Bye.